the topography by itself is worth visiting.
The more long-standing history and culture you have, the better potential for tourism destination you will have.
The cultural aspect of Ethiopian people is diverse.
There are lots of tourist destination sites that we have never yet discovered.
The number of international tourist arrivals in the capital has increased.
They have created different kinds of job opportunities.
Tourism was the most neglected sector, the most neglected industry.
The sector's contribution to the national GDP is almost none.
What's heart-touching is it's completely destroyed.
The contribution of the tourism sector to the global GDP was more than 10%.
Different kinds of senior government officials have been visiting this site.
They can attract a great number of international arrivals, tourist arrivals these days.
The Shonke village has successfully been renovated by the regional government.
Halala Kella in southwestern part of Ethiopia, and Koisha.
After the coming to power of Dr. Abiy Ahmed, it has been given attention. The tourism sector has got attention.
The initiation starts from the capital Addis Ababa, renovating the national palace.
Tourism and peace are part and parcel of a single coin.
Tourism is impacted with peace and safety issues.
If there is no peace and security, they will never come from the very beginning.
Hello and welcome. This is Amico Tour on Amico English. I am Galila Damu with my colleagues Ababa Brahani, Brahan Warkana and Moad Domuliye. The topic of our discussion today is unlocking tourism potential. The main point of our discussion today is the initiation of new tourism sites and the reconstruction of the old ones. Do stay with us. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So let's begin our discussion by considering the potential of Ethiopia in the tourism sector. It's known that Ethiopia has the assets and endowments needed to be a vibrant destination for tourists, right? So what potentials Ethiopia has in the tourism sector? Let's talk about that. Modo, you go.
Okay, let's begin with what Ethiopia has in terms of tourism potential. Ethiopia by its own is a big country. It's a great country in Africa. It's home to more than 80 nationalities and ethnic groups, together comprising of more than 120 million people. And it's a country in Africa that's never colonized. Besides its man-made and natural wonders, Ethiopia by its own is a great country that's worth visiting. Let's take a look at the natural endowments, for example, in the country. A lot of natural wonders that need to be visited by the international community exist in Ethiopia. We can mention a lot for that. The Simin and the Bali Mountains, the national parks there, the great variety of fauna and flora in the national parks. It needs to be visited by international tourists, right? So it's natural, besides its natural wonders, there are also historical places, historical sites that need visiting. For example, we can mention among the historical sites is the ancient city of Gondar, the ancient city of Aksum, the ancient city of Harar, and so on. These are one of the historical sites that are open for tourist attractions in Ethiopia. And also we can mention the cultural experiences in Ethiopia. Lots of religious and cultural events take place annually here in Ethiopia. So these events trap the attention of the world population, the world people, the world visitors, right? So there are a lot of potentials in Ethiopia, especially tourism potentials. The wildlife variety, we can say. The topography by itself is worth visiting. You know, Ethiopia is a country in which stunning landscapes exist, as I already mentioned, from the lowest point of the Dalol depression in the Afar region to the roof of Africa, that's in Amhara region, the Ras Dashen mountains, right? So Ethiopia is a great country, and the natural wonders and the historical and cultural experiences in the country, they all need or they are worth visiting, right? So we can say Ethiopia has a great potential of tourism.
Ethiopia has a diverse tourism potentials ranging from Smin Mountain National Park to Danakil Dalol or Danakil Depression, from impressive rock-hewn church of Lalibela to Bale Mountain National Park is one of the potential tourist destinations which are found in our country, Ethiopia. In addition to this, Ethiopia is a country of remarkable ancient heritages that are very important, especially for tourism sector. And also there are cultural heritages, natural heritages. Therefore, these tangible and intangible heritages found in Ethiopia that are registered under UNESCO and also waiting to be inscribed under UNESCO are also great potentials for our tourism sector. In addition to this, Ethiopia has different kinds of landscapes. As Modo said, a stunning landscape, the rivers, the valleys, the gorges, the mountains that are found in Ethiopia are still untapped to make as a source of tourism industry. In addition to this, Ethiopia has different kinds of remarkable cultures. If you want to take, Ethiopia is a country of nations and nationalities. More than 18 languages are spoken in our country, Ethiopia. Therefore, the cultural aspect of Ethiopian people is diverse. I think these are some of the tourism potentials that will be very important for our country.
Ethiopia is home to natural, cultural, and historical sites, right? UNESCO inscribed more than 11 tourist sites, tangible and intangible tourist sites. So, to what extent Ethiopia harnessed those potentials? Do you really think that Ethiopia used those potentials fully? Let's talk about that.
Before we are going just to see the experience of Ethiopia in terms of using the tourism sector, it's better just to add something about the potentials. Actually, Ethiopia has long-standing history. By the way, the more long-standing history and culture you have, the better potential for tourism destination you will have, right? Yeah. It is obvious that Ethiopia has a 3,000 years history and tradition. This gave Ethiopia an opportunity for both natural and human-made tourism potentials. For instance, broadly categorizing the potential of Ethiopia to Ethiopia's tourist destination sites, it can be both natural and human-made. It has been explained by my colleagues. The naturally created potentials we do have. For instance, if you just see the natural one, we can mention some of them. You can just take the Sophomore Cave, which is the longest cave in Ethiopia, probably in Africa. It's 15 kilometers long. You can walk 15 kilometers inside Sophomore Cave. Its natural architectural design is very interesting. It can be in a good potential for tourism. We can just mention the Danakil Depression, which comprises a large amount of minerals that you cannot find anywhere in the world. It's very important tourist destination sites. You can mention the Lake Tana. Monasteries are found in the Lake Tana. All aged treasures are found in Lake Tana monasteries. We can find aquatic animals, different precious endemic plant and tree species we can find. We can also see national parks. We do have lots of national parks. In terms of man-made tourist destination sites, we can also mention archaeological places where we can find the Hadar also, Hadar, which is found in Afar region. It's a place where Losi or Dinkenesh was discovered. The Awash Valley is also the other archaeological sites where The RDPT Kasa, for instance, what we call RD was discovered or found. It's also a good tourist potential destination. It has a good potential. Also, we can mention also the Yeha, or the kingdom of Damat. Right before 3,000 years, there is a temple which is discovered by archaeologists, temples and tombs before 3,000 years. It's a deep tourist potential site, you know. So we can mention lots of things. Even there are lots of tourist destination sites that we have never yet discovered, right? All this, what have been mentioned are the discovered one. But we have lots of tourist potential sites that we have not yet discovered. So we need just to work hard. Ethiopia by itself has immense tourist potential, destination potentials. So when we come to the second question, in terms of exploiting the potentials of Ethiopia, actually, I don't think we have worked much before this time on the potentials. For instance, we can just see the agriculture sector. Before this time, right before 5 years, the attention of the government was on agriculture, because agriculture is believed to be the backbone of the economy of Ethiopia. The attention of the government was laying on the agriculture sector. Tourism was the most neglected sector, the most neglected industry. We can just see some of the examples that show that the government didn't give attention for the tourism sector. So we have not yet exploited the tourism potential because of some reasons. For instance, the first one is the government didn't give attention for the tourism sector. Let me show you some of the examples that showcase the government didn't give attention for the tourism sector. Before some years, I was at Gorgora. I was sent to Gorgora for reporting. It's the time at which Debrecen Mariam was celebrating its anniversary. I was there for reporting, and I have had the opportunity just to visit that area. In that area, there is, you know, a palace of King Susinios at Gorgora. Gorgora was serving as the capital of Ethiopia before the foundation of Gondar, the city of Gondar. So the palace of King Susinios is there, but what's heart-touching is it's completely destroyed. The palace, it's in heritage, but what exists there is only the place. You may find some ruins of stones or buildings. The government didn't renovate that place. It's a palace. It was serving as a palace for the kings. It's a tourist destination site, but it's already completely destroyed. So this shows that the tourism sector was neglected by the government. We can also mention another example. For instance, you can just see the road to Lalibela. Before 5 or 6 years, the road to Gashena to that of Lalibela, it was not a asphalted road. It was a gravel road. So Lalibela is, through that, one of the greatest tourist destination sites of Ethiopia. But its road is a gravel road, not asphalted road. What does it mean? The government didn't give attention for it. So, because when tourists travel to Lalibela, they used to suffer a lot in traveling through gravel roads. So this shows that the government didn't give attention for the sector. The intention was on the agriculture sector. So we have not yet exploited the tourism sector before some years, but after the coming to power of Dr. Abiy Ahmed, it has been given attention. The tourism sector has got attention, and we have been working a lot in terms of building new tourism destination sites, and as well restoring or renovating the old heritage.
As Abdul was saying, you know, the attention given to the tourism sector as a driving force of economic development at a national level was almost none. You know, that's why when compared to the country's tourism potential, the sector's contribution to the national GDP is almost none, right? It's almost no. You know, when we compare to other African countries such as Morocco, Egypt, you know, they have more than, you know, about 15 million international tourist arrivals annually, but in Ethiopia, it's less than 1 million. I mean 2 million, right? So it indicates that Ethiopia is not, was not working on the sector as one of the economic pillars of the country. But now, the beginning is very good. You know, after the coming to power of His Excellency Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, as Abba already said, there is a change of attitude towards the sector. The infrastructure development was poor, right? You know, tourist sites need food and beverage. Tourist sites need accommodation, right? Proper accommodation, world-class accommodation with state-of-the-art services and facilities. You know, so our tourist sites didn't have such facilities and services, such accommodation, such food and beverage, such comfortable and affordable transport services. You know, most of them even they were inaccessible for tourists.
Okay, good. So the Tourism Development Initiative, spearheaded by Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed, are incredible additions to Ethiopia's tourism potential. This initiative ranges from the renovation of the existing and old tourist sites to the initiation of new tourist sites, right? So let's first discuss about the initiation of tourist sites. It's better, I mean, we are seeing the inauguration of many new tourist sites, incredible tourist sites. We can mention Wenchi, Halala Killa, Chabera Churchura, many other world-class tourist sites. So let's discuss about that.
After Dr. Abiy Ahmed came to power, he started launching a campaign that's very important, especially for developing different kinds of tourist destinations across Ethiopia. He began by calling what we call it Dine for Shagar. Starting from Dine for Shagar, there are different kinds of places in Addis Ababa that is already initiated by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, starting from renovating the palace, and also the government of Ethiopia has already launched this campaign to develop different kinds of tourist destinations around Addis Ababa city, like developing riversides, different kinds of tourist destinations like Unity Park and others. After completing these projects, this project is also an exemplary for expanding these tourist sites into different kinds of regions, and then different kinds of tourist destinations are already launched in different parts of Ethiopia, like Halala Kella in the southwestern part of Ethiopia, and Koisha, Elephant Dana or Pow Lodge, and also Wenchi Eco Lodge, and also here in Amhara region, Gorgora ecotourism is already constructed by the initiative of Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Therefore, the construction of this big, the state-of-art hotel services contains different kinds of equipments that are very important, especially for international tourists coming from different parts of the world, as well as the domestic tourists that they want to use and visit the specific particular areas that they want to see. Therefore, the construction of this grand ecotourism across the nation has brought different kinds of opportunities for our people in terms of job opportunity. They have created different kinds of job opportunities. And also, it's very important to get expected amount of foreign currency from the sector if we want to use it properly. Therefore, the initiation that's already launched by Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia on the tourism sector, especially by launching homegrown economic reform. As we know previously, it was agriculture given priority. Now, the government has given due attention, especially for tourism sector, in order to maximize and get money from the sector. Therefore, the initiation of this tourism sector by the Prime Minister is one step ahead of the previous government. Now, the attention is really amazing. It's bearing fruit nowadays in terms of these tourism development sites across the nation.
Tourism Development Initiative focuses on two things, you know, primarily two things. One, finding new tourist sites, and the other one, renovating and restoring the existing ones, right? So tourism development, new tourism development sites have been created, and they are being created as well. We can mention, Brhan already mentioned, you know, the initiation starts from the capital Addis Ababa, renovating the National Palace, yes, and just moving to Dine for Sheger, beautifying the capital city of Addis Ababa, changing the visual appeal so that it attracts international tourist arrivals. Yeah, that's why the capital city was able to host more than 30 international conferences and meetings for the last 3 months only, right? So today the face of the image of Addis Ababa is not you know, as bad as it was before. You know, it is extremely changed. It's extremely beautified. So it starts from the capital, then this initiation is expanded to a national level, and now a number of international standard or world-class tourist destinations have been built, and now at this time they are also being built. We can take Halala Kella, the Benuna village in Basaka, the Gorgora eco tourism village, and so on. And even the existing ones are being renovated and restored. We can take the Gondar or Fasil Gibi renovation and restoration activities being carried out right now.
We have mentioned good points on the initiation of new tourist sites. Now let's proceed to the renovation and reconstruction of the old ones. We can mention Gorgora and Gondar as a good example of the reconstruction and renovation work, right? Let's talk about that.
The activity of the government, beginning from that of Dine for Nation, Dine for Sheger, and the like things, this activity or this initiative instigates the regional governments in order to just work on their own heritage. For instance, we can just see the Shanke village. Watching the action of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, the regional governments of Amhara region has been working on the renovation of the Shanke village. It's a 900 years old village, which is primarily constructed in order just to protect the society from the enemies. So the Shanke village has successfully been renovated by the regional government. The regional government has financed about 2.5 million for the renovation process of the Shanke village. This is one of the initiatives of the regional government. So the federal government, the activity of the federal government played a great role in terms of instigating the regional government. The Fasil Castle also, the Fasil Castle has successfully been renovated by the joint effort of the federal government and as well the regional government. The regional government has also been playing its role in terms of working with the federal government in renovating the Fasil Castle. Not only the Fasil Castle, we can also see the corridor development project, which is found around the Fasil Castle. The city administration also working on corridor development of the city. We can say that it's a good initiative.
Let's discuss in detail about the Fasil Gibi, the renovation work on the Fasil Gibi.
Frankly speaking, the attention given especially for tourism sector by the Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia is amazing. The renovation process of Fasil Gibi is already, it is the initiative of the Prime Minister. I think the money is directly from the government of Ethiopia. The renovation process of Fasil Gibi is revamped meticulously. Different kinds of senior government officials have been visiting this site. As we know previously, the Fasil Gibi was simply a kind of fortress which has been standing for a long period of time without any kind of renovation. People were going and visiting simply the fortress. It is after Dr. Abiy Ahmed, this great and golden opportunity is given for the Gondar, ancient city, Camelot of Africa, You know, it is very important. It's progressing very well. This, the Fasil Gibi, the renovation process has also created a job opportunity for the residents of Gondar city. According to the information I got from the mayor of Gondar city, the Fasil Gibi renovation process plus the corridor development being underway in the city of Gondar has created job opportunity for more than 1,200 youths. This is a good opportunity, especially for the people of Ethiopia, because there is a young population in all parts of Ethiopia waiting, unemployed. Therefore, the initiative is brief. In addition to renovating this ancient historical site, it has also a great advantage to make the city of Gondar beautiful in order to attract the different kinds of international tourists from different parts of Ethiopia. It is one of the ancient historical sites registered by UNESCO. It was a fortress. It has 12 entrances. It lies on 7 hectares of land. This is a big ancient historical place which is totally forgotten by the then Prime Ministers of Ethiopia. It is Dr. Abiy Ahmed who takes the initiative in renovating or revamping this historical site to make one of a well-known tourist attraction site for domestic and international tourists. I think so.
Yeah. By the way, one of the factors that Ethiopia has not harnessed its tourism potential is that its lack of renovation and restoration of its ancient historical sites, right? You know, most of the countries in the world have revamped, have restored, have renovated their historical sites so that they can attract a great number of international arrivals, tourist arrivals these days. Yes, very known historical sites, well-known, well-visited historical sites in the world have been revamped, have been restored and renovated again, right? So that they can have beautiful appearances, attractive appearances, you know. When the visual appeal becomes more attractive, more beautiful, then it traps, you know, bigger number of tourists, you know, from the international community. Then when more tourists come to our Ethiopia, we generate more income. We create more job opportunities for the local people, right? So simply renovating or restoring does not mean changing the physical appearance of that historical site or structure. It is also serves as transferring it to the generations to come, right? If we leave it as it is, it will disappear at some time in the future. But if we renovate it, if we revamp it, it will continue to be existing for the generations to come.
Over the past 5 or 6 years, Ethiopia's tourism has evolved, right? In addition to its renowned heritage like Aksum, Fasilides, and the like, we are seeing new tourist destinations. So, has the tourism development initiative begun to attract more tourist arrivals? Has the tourists flow to the country increased? Let's talk about that, the flow of tourists to the country.
According to the Ministry of Tourism, you know, for the last 3 months only, Ethiopia has attracted more than, it has attracted around 30 international tourists, 30 international conferences and meetings in the capital Addis Ababa. And this is linked with the beautification initiative of the capital city, right? More international tourists are now visiting Addis Ababa. Even the lifespan, the staying lifespan of the tourists in Addis Ababa has increased significantly. The number of international tourist arrivals in the capital has increased significantly. And the amount of income that's generated from these tourists spend has increased significantly, according to the Ministry of Tourism's report recently, right? So this international, tourism initiative campaign has started to attract more tourist arrivals into our country, we can say, right? It's a good beginning, a good start. When we work more tourists will come. That means.
Okay, so last but not least, let's talk about tourism and peace and security. Development of the tourism sector is interlinked with peace and stability, right? Tourism cannot thrive without peace and stability. So let's say something how interlinked peace and security and tourism are, and sum up our discussion here.
Okay, indeed, tourism needs peace. Without peace, it is impossible to attract different kinds of international tourists from different parts of the world. For instance, as Modo said before, Ethiopia is hosting different kinds of international summits, international conferences. Therefore, in order to host these international conferences, it needs enduring peace and security in our country, Ethiopia. If we don't have peace and security, it will be very difficult to attract and to get expected amount of money from the conference sector via tourism. Therefore, we cannot host international conferences, international summits, continental summits, national summits. Therefore, tourism and peace are part and parcel of a single coin. We can say that. Therefore, if we ensure sustainable peace and security in all parts of Ethiopia, we are paving good opportunity for domestic and international tourists to come and visit those historical and ancient heritages found in Ethiopia.
It's true that tourism and peace and security are related. We cannot just do anything, not only tourism. It's impossible just to survive even. Tourism comes after survival. If there is no peace and security, we cannot just survive. So there is a strong relationship between peace and security and tourism. It's impossible just to work on tourism because when tourists come to this country, if there is no peace and security, they will never come from the very beginning. But once tourists come to Ethiopia, there are different institutions where they can just get information. The first one is their embassies. Tourists ask their embassies where to go, how to go, and the situation, the peace and security situation. Therefore, when they just ask their embassies about the tourism situation, if there is no peace and security, the embassies will never advise them to go to that place. Right? So unless we ensure our peace and security, it's impossible just to maximize our tourism activities. So we need just to work on our peace and security. We have to strive for building the peace and security of our country. So peace is important in terms of working on not only tourism, every activity of the country. They are, something very connected.
Yeah.
Okay, let me add one simple point. According to the World Travel and Tourism Council, the contribution of the tourism sector to the global GDP was more than 10%, right, before the outbreak of the coronavirus. Yes, but after the outbreak of the coronavirus, the contribution of the tourism business to the world GDP has, drastically went down to 3%. And it indicates that how much tourism is impacted with peace and safety issues, right? When there is safety, when there is peace, there is more tourism business. Where there are crises, where there are violence, where there is war, the tourism business, becomes less active. So it is very much, tourism and peace are very much interlinked.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. Dear viewers, you've been watching Amico Tour on Amico English. We've been discussing about unlocking tourism potential. We've been exchanging views on the initiation of new tourist sites and the reconstruction of the old ones. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's me, Galila Damu, with my colleagues Ababa Brahani, Burhan Warkana, and Moad Damuli. Until next time, goodbye.